Like the executive ranks, women across the company are assigned to lower paid and lower opportunity levels. Female employees receive lower starting pay and also earn less than male employers for substantially similar work. Defendants promote women more slowly and terminate them more quickly than their male counterparts. Faced with such adverse terms and conditions of employment, many women have been forced to leave the company. So it's kind of a situation where it's set up to essentially let female employees fail and the male employees will continue to rise up. Because who wants to work for a company when you know you're being underpaid and people are going to do whatever that, the frat boy chugging game thing, what is it, where they get fucking drunk at work? If you get drunk at work and it's not your job to be drunk at work, I think that's a problem, but okay. All right, so these cube crawls. In the office, women are subjected to cube crawls in which male employees drink copious amounts of alcohol as they crawl their way through various cubicles in the office and often engage in inappropriate behavior towards female employees. Male employees proudly come into work hungover, play video games for long periods of time at work while delegating their responsibilities to female employees, engage in banter about their sexual encounters, talk openly about female bodies, and joke about rape. There are concerns who knows and not, and since some aren't talking, it's not helping. We may not know due to NDAs if those happened. I fully believe that there are probably NDAs in place so more people are not talking. I fully believe that. Although the EEOC, I believe if they're investigating, supersedes an NDA. So unsurprisingly, frat boy culture is a breeding ground for harassment and discrimination against women. Female employees are subjected to constant sexual harassment, including having to continually fend off unwanted sexual comments and advances by their male coworkers and supervisors, and being groped at the cube crawls and other company events. High-ranking executives and creators engaged in blatant sexual harassment without repercussions. Numerous complaints about unlawful harassment, discrimination, and retaliation were made to defendants, human resources personnel, and executives, including to Blizzard Entertainment President J. Allen Brack, but defendants failed to take effective remedial measures in response to these complaints. Employees were further discouraged from complaining as human resource personnel were known to be close to the alleged harassers. So how can you report that things are absolute hell in your workplace if the person you're reporting it to is part of the insanity of it all? So an internal investigation into the human resource unit noticed that there was a big lack of trust and that HR not held in high regard. Unsurprisingly, employees' complaints were treated in a perfunctory and dismissive manner and not kept confidential. As a result of these complaints, female employees were subjected to retaliation, including but not limited to being deprived of work on projects, unwillingly transferred to different units, and selected for layoffs. So the plaintiff, DFEH, an agency in the state of California, brings this enforcement action against the defendants in its prosecutorial role, seeking relief in the public interest for the state and defendants' female employees, which will now be referred to as the group. Pursuant to the authority vested in DFEH under FEHA, good lord, government code, blah, 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 they are seeking to remedy, prevent, and deter unlawful harassment, retaliation, and discrimination. And for the record, let's make something clear about HR, because a lot of people, especially a lot of younger people entering their first maybe real job or whatever, think that HR is there to protect you, right? HR is there to protect the company, and it's trying to mediate things for you so that you feel satiated, but so that the company is fine. And when you're dealing with that kind of situation, if you are naive or I don't know what it is, or just unaware of the true intentions of HR, then it's going to work against you. And in this case, when your HR department quite possibly was taking part in the harassment, or at least being friendly with those people, so in other words, will not do anything about it, HR absolutely failed in this case, because had they actually taken appropriate action against these individuals, none of this would have happened. And someone would have still been alive. This is an absolute failure of this company. An absolute fucking failure. There's no way around that. If one of your employees dies because of the workplace environment you have fostered, that is the ultimate fucking black mark. And I'm happy that people are talking about this. I know obviously this whole investigation had to conclude for this to even come to light, but this is insane. I don't know how this is. Oh, hi, Casper. I don't know how this is or ever was an okay thing. Especially, these are recent things. Within the past 10 years, it's like, it's almost as if nothing fucking changes. Okay, so these are the factual allegations This is where shit's gonna get heavy. Hi, beanbag. Hi, beanbag. Hello, baby. So factual allegations, okay? This is gonna be about sex discrimination, pay, assignment, promotion, termination, and constructive discharge. So this is where it's gonna get bad, okay? So we're gonna be real about this. So, defendants have engaged in and continue to perpetuate discriminatory practices regarding pay, assignment, promotion, and other terms and conditions of employment which negatively affect and impact female employees. These discriminatory practices begin at hire when women are offered lower compensation and less lucrative job assignments and opportunities than their male counterparts. Defendants paid female employees significantly less in starting pay than their male counterparts at hire. This pattern or practice and violations were continuing. This is about pay disparity. Apparently, women were also offered less stock and incentive pay opportunities, and they were overwhelmingly assigned into lower grades or levels without stock or incentive pay opportunities. So they weren't allowed to get the same benefits. They were never on the same playing field. A female employee who worked at Blizzard Entertainment was assigned to a lower level, denied equal pay, and passed over for a promotion despite multiple factors that suggested she earned it. And these are those factors. 1. Highly rated performance reviews. She generated significantly more revenue in her marketing campaigns than her male counterpart, and she ran almost twice as many campaigns as her male counterpart. So imagine this, right? For every campaign he runs, she runs 2. And for every campaign she runs, she makes twice as much. And she does twice as many, which means am I correct? That's a 4-to-1 ratio of success. And according to this, she was passed up for the opportunity. Similarly, other female employees at Blizzard Entertainment were assigned to lower level roles, denied equal pay, and further delayed or passed over for promotions in favor of male counterparts who lacked the same experience or qualifications, but who were friends with the male head of the unit. So this was literally, like they were saying, it's a big frat thing. Like, if you're friends with the boss, you get the promotion, and if you're a woman, it doesn't fucking matter, apparently. And the same thing, I guess, at Activision Publishing, the same shit. Women of color were particularly vulnerable targets of defendants' discriminatory practices. Oh my goodness, my English tonight. An African-American employee noted it took her 2 years to be made into a permanent employee, while men hired after her were made into permanent employees. She also was micromanaged such that her male coworkers were known to be playing video games without any intervention by her supervisor, but her supervisor would call and check on her if she took a break to go on a walk. Another African-American employee who worked on information technology was similarly micromanaged by her manager, unlike the men on her team. When she requested time off of work, her manager made her write a 1-page summary of how she would spend that time off of work when no one else had to do any write-up. The male supervisor also criticized her body language, despite male counterparts slouching in meetings, and she was scolded for asking for assistance while others could get help on similar tasks without the same criticism. These experiences led female employees to leave their employment with defendants, and rightfully so. Why would you want to stay in that type of work environment? As a result of these discriminatory pay, assignments, promotion, and other practices, defendants' gender pay gap is significant. Defendants paid female employees significantly less in base pay and total compensation than their male counterparts. This pattern or practice and violations were continuing. When women complained to human resource personnel about the lack of equal employment opportunities, especially in comparison to their male counterparts, their complaints fell on deaf ears and were met with an empty promise to investigate the issue. Unsurprised, and it looks like they tried to hire someone, but nothing was remedied, and the same shit continued in this workplace. You know, if you were working for this company and you are working your butt off, you are killing it, and you're seeing these lazy fuckers that are just playing games all day get promoted instead of you and you're the one carrying the bag, I'd leave to a company that cares more about me too. Well, it's not just me. That's probably what a lot of these women did. Additionally, defendants terminated female employees more quickly than their male counterparts. This pattern or practice and violations were continuing. In some, defendants' discriminatory practices adversely affected women in compensation, assignment, promotion, and termination. Now we're going to move on to the sexual harassment, which we've been over, and where it's going to get worse because it's not going to get better. So let's get into that, although we have briefly touched on a lot of these things, so we are going to kind of just lightly touch them now. So this is again about the cube crawls. Male employees would play video games during work, engage in banter about their sexual encounters, talk openly about female bodies, and make numerous rape jokes. As part of the product of this frat boy culture, women were subjected to numerous sexual comments and advances, groping, and unwanted physical touching and other forms of harassment. A female employee noted that random male employees would approach her on defendant's worksite and comment on her breasts. Female employees working for the World of Warcraft team noted that male employees and supervisors would hit on them, make derogatory comments about rape, and otherwise engage in demeaning behavior. This behavior was known to supervisors and indeed encouraged by them, including a male supervisor openly encouraging a male subordinate to buy a prostitute to cure his bad mood. Remember when I said that like this was going to be like Wolf on Wall Street type moment? I actually have not read the latter part of this about buying a prostitute to cure his bad mood. But wow, that was a spot on assessment. Gross behavior. Absolutely fucking gross. This is about the Bill Cosby suite. And now it does describe here that the company event, which is BlizzCon, this is where this former senior creative director of World of Warcraft would go, hit on the employees, attempt to kiss them, try and put their arms around him, and have the Crosby suite, the Cosby suite, the rape suite. What the fuck? This dude was never like formally reprimanded, by the way. And then it continues that he was known to engage in harassment of females. The Crosby suite, named after alleged rapist Bill Crosby. I assume that's Bill Cosby, as we determined earlier. Apparently the event in question was BlizzCon, where this shit was happening. Next up, we're going to talk about retaliation and defendants' failure to prevent discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. The problem of harassment and discrimination extended to, and at minimum, were known to those at the top. Defendants of former chief technology officer were observed by employees groping inebriated employees at company events and were known for making hiring decisions based on female applicants' looks. An employee complained to Blizzard Entertainment president J. Allen Brack in early 2019 that employees were leaving due to sexual harassment and sexism. Specifically, this employee noted that women on the Battle.net team were subjected to disparaging comments, the environment was akin to working at a frat house, and that women who were not huge gamers or core gamers were not into the party scene and were excluded and treated as outsiders. So they've known since 2019, and by the sounds of it, in 2019, the president was alerted that employees were leaving due to sexual harassment, which means that this had been stemming for a long period of time. And as we saw from other articles, the owner, Bobby Kotick, is inside Jeffrey Epstein's black book, apparently, and that an Activision boss, whatever the hell this guy's name was, this motherfucker, in 2010, when this article was written, loses his legal battle over sexual harassment. So in 2010, we were aware sexual harassment was happening, or these higher-ups were aware. They were aware again that there was some fuckery going on, because in 2015, Jeffrey Epstein's little black book came out, and he's inside of the book. In 2019, they're aware that employees are leaving due to harassment and sexism. And at no point, all the way through 2021, in this 12-year span of time, and it's probably much longer than 12 years, essentially, at no time did they stop. So this is about the female employees going to human resources not helping, male coworkers belittling them, minimizing their contributions, and that those guys were promoted more quickly despite their lack of seniority. So the causes of action are what the government body in California has deemed because of sex compensation issues within this, and sex compensation just meaning that women are underpaid for what they were doing in Blizzard, apparently very consistently for over a decade. This is apparently a documentable pattern. And that's just from the news articles. Like someone mentioned earlier, that probably doesn't include what's tucked away in NDAs, private files that aren't going to be made, viewable to the public. Gross, gross, gross. Like if this is what we get to see publicly, then I have no doubt that there were probably worse things going on that are either buried, covered up, or locked under NDAs that the public can't get access to. That's my opinion, obviously. But I have a hunch, because where there's smoke, there's fire. And there is a lot of smoke right now. So this is kind of a summary of what's going on, that women are underpaid, harassed, passed up for promotion. Again, more legalese here. The third cause of action, employment discrimination because of sex termination, saying that women were leaving more because they were discriminated against because of who they were, just for existing as women. Imagine this, right? So they're saying, like earlier in this lawsuit, right, that they're hiring females. They were saying they were hiring women employees because of their attractiveness, right? So you hire these women because they applied to work for you, which means they must have some sort of interest in this company, and you hire them because they're hot, but then you give them work that they're too qualified for, put them at a lower rank and pay them less, give them less options to benefits, all of this shit. It's just weird, you know? It's like, it's purely, it looks like, to me at least, a situation of where this gaggle of dudes, I guess, wanted control over women, and perhaps they couldn't get it in their personal life. I don't fucking know what is going on, but it seems like they were compensating for something, and since they couldn't get it IRL, couldn't have a fair relationship with a woman, couldn't whatever, they were like, we'll just take it out on the women that work here. Because if they're not as into gaming as us, if they're going to gatekeep the fuck out of shit so that women cannot be included in these parties or whatever, then they're less than. Nice guys, incels, whatever you want to call it, something gross, something very toxic and sludgy was going on inside of Activision Blizzard, and it's been rotting for a very long time, apparently. 6th cause of action, retaliation. So when these women did go to HR, they would not get their responses or any of that stuff. By all reason, the continuous nature of defendants' unlawful conduct, the continuing violations doctrine is applicable to all violations alleged herein. And it's going to follow with every single one of these. 9th cause of action, unequal pay. Like, this is just a sad fucking pattern. 10th cause of action. These are just various issues that are being raised. So here is the prayer for relief, which is what they want. So DFEH prays that this court issue judgment in favor of DFEH against defendants, which is Activision Blizzard, ordering compensatory and punitive damages, unpaid wages, liquidated damages, and other remedies and penalties available under the Equal Pay Act, injunctive relief, declaratory relief, equitable relief, including but not limited to reinstatement and or front pay, pay adjustments, back pay, lost wages and benefits, including base pay, incentive pay, pension benefits, and awards. Imagine all of that getting fucking withheld from you because you are a woman. Prejudgment interest as required by law, attorney's fees and costs to the Department of Fair Employment and Housing, and other relief the court deems to be just and proper. This is dated July 20th, 2021. And they demand jury trial, which means they want this to go to court. Obviously, knowing Activision Blizzard and everything, this will never see a day in court. This is going to get settled. But the fact that this got out and this was made public is a huge blow to them. My understanding is the subreddit right now is up in absolute fucking flames. Let's go take a look at what's going on in the World of Warcraft subreddit. So this is a day ago, a joint statement from the moderators regarding sexual harassment at Activision Blizzard. This right here, 14 hours ago, a Blizzard internal staff email sent by J. Allen Brack. Is this recent? Sources here for anyone questioning authenticity. Okay, so I guess this is an actual email about the lawsuit. So this is the actual dude, the CEO, J. Allen Brack or whatever, the president. This is what he had to say about this. So he says, "Hello, Blizzard. I personally have a lot of emotions coming out of yesterday, and I know you do too. The allegations and the hurt of current and former employees are extremely troubling. I know many of you would like to receive more clarity. While I can't comment on the specifics of the case as it's an open investigation, what I can say is that the behavior detailed in the allegations is completely unacceptable." I mean, suicide is on a legal document. I would say troubling is probably a bit of an understatement, to be 100% fair. It goes with saying it is completely unacceptable for anyone in the community to face discrimination or harassment. It goes with saying that anyone should feel safe working here, whether we are on campus, at BlizzCon, or working from home. It goes with saying it takes courage to come forward, and all claims brought to the company are investigated by internal and, when needed, external investigators. We take these claims very seriously. Claims can be made without fear of retaliation, and many times I attend to them personally, along with our other leaders. So you personally ignored this shit for literally over a decade. Like, I call absolute bullshit on that, but okay. So stepping back, when I talked with Bobby about his job, one of the first things I mentioned was a revered saint of the Brack household, Gloria Steinem. Growing up, the value of women as equals, understanding the work that had been done for equal treatment, and the fact that there was still much to do were common themes. This is just one of the reasons why the fight for equality is incredibly important to me. People with different backgrounds, views, and experiences are essential for Blizzard, our teams, and our player community. I disdain bro culture and have spent my career fighting against it. Like, I read the words, right? Like, I understand that those words made that sentence. However, going over what we just read in that legal document, not brought on by any individuals, mind you, because they were not brought on by individual people. This was brought on by a government agency in California, a regulating body of business brought this case forward. Like, I want to make that clear that there's a very clear distinction here. When someone, a disgruntled employee, whatever, wants to sue a company, some people might see that as frivolous, it's a personal vendetta, whatever, even if that's not the case. This was a government agency in California that brought this case forward against Activision Blizzard. This is huge because they have really nothing to gain from this by bringing this case forward. Yeah, so by saying, you know, you've been fighting against it, like you've been cultivating this for so fucking long that a government agency had to step in to bring forth a lawsuit. That's insanity. It blows my fucking mind in all of the worst ways possible. Iterating on our culture with the same intensity that we bring to our games is imperative, with our values acting as our North Star. This is some of the most important work we do, both as professionals and human beings. Cool story, bro. The company is more than a legal construct that exists as a piece of paper in a filing cabinet in Delaware. The people that work at the company make it what it is through their actions and creations. Okay, so if they make it what it is through their actions and creations, then the allegations brought forward, those actions make the company what it is. So then we are in agreement that the company is absolute dog shit. Okay, I'm glad we finally got that. It took most of the email, but I'm glad that has finally been reached. Each of us play a role in maintaining a place for safety for one another, and it is also up to each of us to continue to craft the Blizzard we want, and commit to doing our part, in keeping Blizzard great, but always aspiring for more. The words are so vapid, they're so empty to me. It's, whoever wrote this, like, whoever his PR team or whatever is, they tried, right? Like, they really tried, but this is so tone deaf, especially once, you know, we went through what we just went through, which is reading that entire, the entire lawsuit. It's gross what's in there. I keep saying gross, but I like, my brain is like frying over this shit. Like, I just don't know how this went on for so long and how so many women just put up with this shit. The leadership team and I will be meeting with many of you to answer questions and discuss how we can move forward. In the meantime, I want you to know that you can talk to any manager, any HR partner, any member of the legal team, or to anyone on the executive team, including Hey Jay. Don't know who that is. If you feel more comfortable talking to someone outside of Blizzard or prefer to be anonymous, you can contact the Way to Play Integrity line. I feel angry, sad, and a host of other emotions, but I also feel grateful to work alongside a set of leaders and thousands of employees who join me in their commitment to continuous improvement. Thank you, Blizzard. I don't really know how to go with this, like how to feel about this. I believe the WoW subreddit went against Blizzard. So this is a statement from the moderators themselves. We do not serve Activision Blizzard. We are unpaid volunteers with no affiliation to the company. Above all, we serve our individual communities, and we believe that this is an important discussion to be had. Having said that, discussion surrounding this topic still needs to adhere to our rules of our subreddits. Victim blaming, sexism, and harassment of others will not be tolerated. We will try to keep the discussion consolidated to the existing main thread for convenience and visibility. We stand by the victims of the situation, and we hope that this lawsuit is resolved in such a way that justice is met for those who deserve it. I love how the fucking unpaid moderators who do this out of passion and fucking love for their subreddit put out a better statement than the fucking CEO. How do y'all do a better job? Like, hats off. Who wrote this? Does it say who wrote this? iilluminaughtii? Great job. Big approval. Big fucking approval right now. So apparently this letter was leaked from an employee, I guess, that brought it to the server. A lot of fucking stuff right now. This is just so sad to go through this. Don't hate on people for continuing to play a game they love. I've heard that some of these games are insanely, like, I don't want to say addicting, but they're very much, you build a community around it and all that kind of stuff. And that sucks to know that if you continue to pay for the services, because I know they do the monthly subscription fee and stuff, that's a big part of their deal or whatever, that now you feel maybe perhaps you're contributing to this. I don't know. What do you say about this to, like, the players? Because I don't think the players really had a say in this, unless I'm absolutely missing something. But I don't think they did. It's absolute dog shit. And I can understand why many people are, I guess, going to move and switch the games they play and all of that stuff too. Because how could you want to stay, almost to a degree, knowing this? So apparently this is on the old one. Oh, use old Reddit. I hate this shit. Okay, there we go. Oh, yep, there it sure is. There we go. So 2.1 million are fed up with Blizzard, and 16,342 subs lost every minute. That's great. I like that the mods did that. I like that. I don't think I can join because I don't play WoW, but I feel for a lot of people right now that might be just going through some shit. I'm going to be honest here. I could continue to totally just drag this stream out forever and a half, but I believe, as far as I'm concerned, that we've covered the baseline of what's going on in terms of what has been happening right now. I'm sure there's, going to be more coming out. People will step forward, say stuff on Twitter, whatever. But we went over the lawsuit in terms of legal action. Legal action comes fast, but not that fast. That's probably all we're going to see for a little bit right now. It sucks. I'm sorry if any of you guys like playing the games and you have to deal with this. I don't even know how you would feel. I'm sure there's many of you that are just like, what the fuck? I've been playing these games for so long. And to know that probably most, if not the entire time that you've been playing this game, that this shit's been going on behind closed doors. There's really no excuse for it. Betrayed. Betrayal is probably a very fair feeling. Felix says it's gross to see how Blizz has treated other cases of alleged sexual harassment with people like Swifty and how they handled their own. It's day and night. What happened with Swifty? Is that a person? Blizzard clamped down hard on anything related to sexual harassment when it comes to any sort of content creators. The implication is that there's a double standard in behavior, rules for thee, not for me. Thank you, Kimchi. I did not know what happened. That's horrific. So they played this game that publicly, if someone may even be accused of something, they'd attack the living shit out of them, fire them, shit can their lines. Apparently a voice actor too, you guys are saying. But meanwhile, for literally over a decade, this is what was hiding behind the Blizzard Activision door, if that's what I'm getting correctly. What the fuck? I didn't even know this was a thing. So this is, I've had this up as well too. And this is the script from the first Activision Blizzard video that I did that I think went live 4 or 5 months ago on the main channel. And I was kind of scrolling through it as well to kind of remember certain things that were said and written. And of course, because of the source list at the end, to kind of keep track of certain things that happened. And I just can't believe that, we talked about Blitzchung because that was a big deal. I didn't realize that there were voice actors that got their shit stripped out, streamers that got fucked up. I had no idea. And meanwhile, this is what they were doing behind their fucking doors. I don't think I have much more to add to the conversation as of right now. I think that this is something that Allie and I will have to comb through. There's definitely things about Activision I didn't know. And now with this gigantic lawsuit coming out, this makes it even more clear how hypocritical they were. I had no fucking idea. This is terrible. I really feel for the players now, because it's like the whole rug gets pulled out from underneath you because you find out the company that you love playing games with is absolute dog shit. This is so wrong. I don't know how a company like this is going to recover. They obviously have enough money and stuff in China with the game series out there, especially I think Diablo Mobile, Diablo 4 or whatever out there is huge. So I don't think they're you know what I mean? If they shut down operations in the US, I think they'd be just fine in China, which is really sad. Sometimes life fucking sucks, man. And this really, really sucks. Your feet